PJ Patterson is no better than Mark Golding. The PNP have nothing to campaign on, so expect more lies and propaganda. Hello, my people. Welcome back to the Skywalker channel. You know how it goes already. This is where good coffee make bad people bitter. My friends, I was watching PJ and half hoping that time and age would make him have some kind of heart. But what I see was disappointing. Seems like integrity is avoiding him. These men completely lack the capacity to understand, to know, or to fathom the presence and reality of God. It is sad, but you can't be sorry for them. They would watch you live in fear while paying gangsters to keep you in fear so they can coerce you into voting PNP. Remember when Bruce Golding was determined about making tuition and education free? Remember how the PNP fought against it? And even until today, the principals, especially PNP apologists, sabotage it. Well, if you become too educated, they won't win another election in Jamaica. PNP win elections because people fear for their lives, because people are impoverished and will sell for cheap cash, and because people are so dunce that they do not know if sugar sweet. Still, I was hoping for a hint to say this wicked thieving man who has no remorse has changed. Well, he did not. This is how he will go to a God he will not know until he meets. Or this is what it seems like, isn't it? People, remember to thumb up the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to this platform before we move along. As old as PJ Patterson is, he speaks mostly idle words that make no sense, but he only tries to make them sound stylish. He only speaks to perpetuate a lie or propaganda, lying, but in a subtle way, like Mark Golding. People who speak that way have no substance, and they are deceivers all the time. They are deceivers. Deceivers have nothing positive or intelligent to say. They only come to make empty noise and deceive you. That's why the PNP wants to lead Jamaica without a plan. Yet, Fitzjackson was in Parliament attacking Favour Williams because he didn't see a certain plan in details. Everything these men say and do make them the hypocrites all over again, all day, every day. Everything, everything, everything they say. These wicked ones need to give back the PNP to decent Jamaican comrades and leave Jamaica alone to prosper. Leave the rightful comrades with their party. The people need two useful political party, two, not one, at least two. They need two useful political parties, not one good one and no option. There must be an option, but right now we don't have one. But fear of the PNP ever going back to power. That's all. No option but fear of the PNP ever going back to power. That's the dilemma we are in right now. And this is not good for a democratic nation. The wicked are upon us. The appearance and the words of this PJ Patterson tells us that they will be doubling down on this propaganda politics. But the problem is that it's not easy to tell people that a bull had carved through its balls. These days, you have to understand that people that believe are mostly those that deliberately force themselves to believe because they are so darn stupid that they cannot see the bigger picture. A man who wants to take political power by any means necessary is inherently corrupt. He will be guaranteed to ravage your country. These these PNP people have already demonstrated how they will destroy Jamaica, and they already promised taxes and hinted on hospital fees. I was trying to listen to Patterson, but the useless crap that he speaks was too annoying. All he knows was how to tell lies in technical ways. For example, using crime as a political football by trying to blame the JLP for his failure. Mr. Patterson wants to accuse a man who is innocent as far as we can see, but he says nothing about the poor people's money that they work so hard overseas to obtain. Hmm? And he took it as far as we knew in those days. I think he was even asked to resign from the party for stealing, right? And he was asked to resign because the party leader thought he stole, right? And I mean, there was so many acts of corruption under his leadership, and he was directly involved in most of them as far as we could see. And in the case with Andrew Holness, he's innocent as far as we can see because all the evidence says that. And when they get an international party to investigate him, that international party is saying that they see no cause or they see no reason to think that he is guilty. So, I mean, this is wickedness, complete wickedness, and it's coming from a man who is known for corruption, PJ Patterson, the most corrupt prime minister in the history of Jamaica. Imagine that. And now he comes as the one who followed in Manley's footsteps and made gangsters a part of his politics, using them to win elections. Now he is talking about government's failure in fighting crime, which became what it is under his leadership. Worst of all, he is claiming that the government is not trying to work with the opposition, who are sabotaging everything the government does to stop it. But he blames the opposition for not grappling with the opposition party. Huh? He blames the government for not grappling before the opposition party who are caught paying gangsters more than the police are being paid. Just think about that. Just wrap your head around that or try. People, PJ Patterson is just like Mark Golding. He points with his finger, pointing back, and every word he says goes right back to him. Just like Golding, whenever he throws an accusation at someone, it's what he himself did. PJ Patterson was dismissed for thieving public funds, but he comes here trying to use propaganda to make it appear as if Andrew Holness was stealing. At least if you're a thief, respect the person who is innocent. Huh? I mean, he wanted to appear as if Andrew was stealing, although they have no proof of that. This man is in Janko settings, and I believe that he is the Rise United mentor. It is sick. It is repugnant. This is not the 90s, and people are way more intelligent. Moreover, the dancehall artists cannot wield the influence as before. So, I mean, they can't use them to make the people believe anymore. Everything Patterson says will be used against Mark Golding. This man needs to go sit down his old thieving self. He has no shame, no shame at all. All they depend on is corruption in all its forms. They led Jamaica into a world renowned corrupt state, and now that Andrew has greatly diminished that perception against us, they say that he is corrupt. How can you be corrupt when you are the one who brings down the incidents of corruption that the world can see and make the appraisal by? Whatever the PNP does, they will point fingers at others far. So soon as they do something, you hear them accusing someone. And if you want to find out what they do, wait until they start accusing someone and then investigate them. Mark Golding had a corrupt news media supported by Matalan losing money to help him, right? The media was losing money to help him and hemorrhaging badly too because many people, including myself, is done with them. Yet, when the company decided to give us the impression that it was ready to do better and be non-biased, Mark Golding claims that the JLP bought out the media, the Gleaner, whose leader openly endorsed him. Imagine, imagine that. The RJR group has done too many obviously biased posts against Andrew Holness, but he was ever taking it gracefully. The Gleaner must stop its hemorrhage by trying to win back the people, which is going to be hard because they had done way more than enough. You have a man questioning Andrew Holness about where he got the money from when there was no evidence that he had any money. Hmm? That's the worst kind of media incitement. They hide behind words to prevent a lawsuit and use rhetoric to direct the people to what they should believe. Evil incitement, evil incitement, evil incitement. And people like Oral Tracy, who worked with the RJR group, was also that irresponsible. After doing anything remotely like that, it cannot be justified as a fair support or a fair um as fair news, as balance. It is an attack on a man's reputation to benefit the PNP, but they come and put filth in front of you and want you to believe it's sugar. Education is on the verge of driving the final nail into the PNP's coffin. Unless the people will salvage it quickly, the PNP's greed for power by any means necessary is sickening. Mhm. And because they are so corrupt and because they are so desperate, greedy for power, they accuse others. You see, that's what they do. They are the party that's doing anything, no matter what, going drunk mode and hog swine wash, hog wash mode and stuff like that. But they are not the ones that are greedy for power. You see it? Patterson has no depth and he is not in sync with the times. He believes that his old evil politics he used to do, can work as it did before, but it cannot. He is wrong, and it will only be counterproductive. However, they have no choice because nothing that is good or makes sense is in their favor right now. So they will have to double down on lies and propaganda, and it will be like flagging a dead horse anyway. And at the end of it all, their evil will be exposed for justice to be served. Finally, Patterson used his puppets to destroy Peter Phillips, right? And now he believes he can fight God's judgment and fix it. Just like how Peter Phillips was facing his own retribution for the same low down drunken politics he used on Andrew Holness because he was the one who started the attacks on Andrew Holness, which turned back against him within his own party. Mark Golding and his chain gang are facing years, and the presence of PJ Patterson is a sign that God wants us to see the evil man's nakedness. Every word he speaks will expose more of himself, and people will come to find out the evil they thought was a good prime minister. Well, although most people know by now how wicked PJ Patterson was, going behind the degree of traitor for he was worse than that, to almost satanic, that he would destroy this country and his own people. Now he will be exposed, his nakedness will be exposed, and people will realize where the mark was. They will see the mark that proves he's guilty because he'll be bare naked, no clothes to cover it up. I said every word he speaks will expose more of himself, and people will come to find out the evil they thought was a good prime minister. Well, although most people know by now how wicked PJ Patterson was, going beyond the degree of traitor, for he was worse than that, to almost satanic, that he would destroy this country and his own people. Now he comes back to pretend like there is love inside him. This man is a serpent. Just listen to how he tells the lies with rhetorical flair. God nah sleep, God nah sleep, God nah sleep. I am glad I was here to witness the evil come to reveal itself. Uh-huh. Mhm. Mark Golding's methods are similar to his handler PJ, but his ineptitude makes him seem awkward about it sometimes. They will be hard pressed to get beyond the barriers of intelligence. People are more intelligent now. The PNP has to be desperate to overthrow the government in order to stay relevant by bringing Jamaica back to the impoverished state. That way, the sufferers will once again be the majority that they can control. So when they have a majority of poor because they love the poor, they will control them and they will stay in power like they did before. All they need is some criminals working with them. One look at PJ Patterson's face and you can see a dead conscience. Common sense will tell you that for a man like Patterson to keep coming back, his conscience would have to be non existent. At least looking at the signs and what is ahead, we know that this is a glorious time coming. But evil will not prosper when the people become enlightened. Evil will not prosper when the people become enlightened. Think on these things, my people. Peace out.